Vénganse, vénganse, vénganse. Vamos a jugar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a cantar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a llorar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a fumar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a jugar hoy, hoy, hoy.
Welcome, friends, to another episode on this frequency.
Oh, shit.
Natalie, Ray, for the first time on camera. If you guys are watching on Twitch, or if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see him. And we have Rickie as well.
Yes.
Hi, friends.
Hello.
So you got his name right. Did you get his name right last week?
I don't know.
Because remember, sometimes you call him Andrew, and then sometimes you call him... What did you call him the week before?
Raymond.
Or Andrew. Something else.
Either Raymond or Andrew. I don't think I've called him anything different other than one or the other of his names.
I think you just needed to see him.
Yeah.
Physically, we officially have Ray on Raycam. I mean, it's not your...
But I'm physically behind the camera when you guys see me anyway, so I don't know how she would mess that up. Which you didn't mess it up, so don't take it, because I think she's the one.
Just fire me already. Just tell me that I'm doing a horrible job.
I think Rickie's the one that just keeps pointing it out.
I think it's hilarious.
You're pointing out my insecurities, Rickie.
Work on it. Get it right.
Yeah, I don't...
Get it right, get it tight.
Hey.
I mean, at least, you know... As long as I'm remembering my name, that's all that matters, really.
At this point, I don't disagree with you. I feel like I forget things all the time now. Oh,
I'm not going to lie. I feel kind of naked.
Because you're missing...
I'm missing my phone.
Where is your phone?
I have no idea. You know what Apple needs to do? They need to,
There is a feature.
For us to watch our feeds. I want to be able to watch Twitch on my watch. That'd be dope.
Oh.
You can't do that?
No.
Interesting.
I get the notification, right? It says that we're live.
Yeah.
But
you want to be able to click on it and then
just to at least video. Just watch the chat.
That's true.
Oh yeah, that would be very interactive. I'm with that. I agree. I accept.
I don't even know what I did with my phone, to be honest with you. I took a long ass nap today. Not long. It wasn't long. It felt long. I got home. Took my son to the doctor's. Then I got home, and then I knocked out, and I missed everything. All the conversations that were going on. You texted us.
Yeah.
How long was that nap?
Honestly, 45 minutes. A lot happened in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I got up. I was like, oh, I got to go.
Yep.
A little power nap.
Yeah. I still need more, though. A lot more.
I'll take it for me and for all of us that need them, because I love napping. I haven't had a nap before birth. Giving birth. Before birth.
You haven't had a nap since then?
She hasn't had.
That makes sense why you can't remember shit.
I haven't had a quality nap.
And quality naps make a difference. You could have a good, solid quality nap in a car.
What justifies as a quality nap, though?
How you wake up.
Restful. Yeah.
Oh,
just
really?
What mood you wake up in, right?
How you wake up, for sure.
So.
Now, does it depend on how you fall asleep? Because I feel like sometimes you could have the intent to fall asleep and be like, all right, cool, I'm gonna knock out, this is gonna be a good nap, and then wake up and you're like, that was shitty. Yeah, that wasn't good enough.
I can see that. Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I guess if I have a lot of pendientes, then it's gonna be a shitty nap.
You can't even sleep if you have a lot of pendientes.
Never mind. Forget this nap. Let me get to the things,
I found this new app, or not, it's not an app, it's on YouTube. It's just this meditative sleep thing.
Soundtrack or what?
Yeah, he just starts telling you imagine yourself in a mountain scene. I used to think that stuff was corny, and then now I'm dependent on it to a degree.
Yeah, right.
And then it just zones out to weird music, which reminded me a lot of, we just experienced the sound bowls with Anita on Monday, and it was Natalie, Ray's wife, myself, my daughters, and your sister. And we all went to where Anita works and had that sonic experience.
Sound bath. That was beautiful. That was perfect.
And you can YouTube those things.
Yes. Yeah, to confirm they're edited, right?
They're edited, and you could knock out to that.
Yeah, for sure.
But experiencing it live is a whole other thing.
Hell yes. I think that everyone needs to experience a sound bath via the presence of a sound bowl healer, because YouTube is great and all, but you really feel like the sound is in your head while it's happening.
It
At
is.
least that's how I experienced it.
I think the frequencies neutralize everything that was going on, that could be going on in your head. And for me, it was probably just as like the impact was just as powerful as being high or drunk or being on mushrooms. Like it was, I saw a lot of different things and felt a lot of different things.
Yeah.
During the session.
Yeah.
One thing, because unfortunately I didn't join that.
Sorry.
It's coming. It's coming.
I was being nice about it. You didn't read the sarcasm,
For
huh?
the next one.
But no, when my wife came home, she was just, I was like, so how'd it
she
go?
feel?
She goes,
Yeah.
I fell asleep at the end.
Good.
And then I told Rickie.
But we all did,
yeah,
though.
Rickie said, she goes, everybody fell asleep. I was like, well, then that's really good, though. That just means that you actually were able to get yourself into
rest,
that relaxed state that's what she was there for, right? That was what the intention was.
And I think I noticed the exact moment that she rested. Because like we were on our backs and Anita had said like you can move any way you want, like whatever to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And Samantha was next to me, so I felt her turn on her side. And then when she moved, and I was like, I kind of moved around too, and then like knocked out. But that was already maybe like 20 minutes after the initial, like everything starting.
Really?
Yeah. So it was crazy.
So I know you said Zay ended up doing it, right?
He did. So Anita did it with the Legaspi family, and he was there. Yes.
Did he share with you his experience?
No. What did he say?
No, that's what I'm asking.
Oh no, I should have asked him. No.
Because that was on Tuesday that you guys were you had talked about it, or you had mentioned it, right?
Yeah.
But I don't remember you guys actually like.
No, I have to ask him. I want to ask him.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys ended up like eventually talking about it. That's why I'm asking. But
no, I will. And then, but to add to that, she actually came down on Thursday. What's today? Friday? Thursday? So Wednesday. She came on Wednesday and did it here in the studio, and it was just her and I. Completely different experience. 1,000% different. I did it when we were together in her studio.
Yeah.
Everybody was, like I said initially, I felt everybody's love in the room. It was such a strange feeling. Like it started and I was filled with so much love. And then, but you felt the different energies, right? But here, it was this, it was very intimate and it was very focused because it's just me at that moment, right? With Anita, who's in the process of doing her thing.
Yeah.
That makes sense now.
what's that? Your process of what you were going through yesterday? Or?
Yes, because so after you do something like that, it's a whole healing process, right? So things unravel after you start to kind of cleanse all that out of your body and out of your system, and you start to kind of think about things, right?
Yeah, your reflection.
Yeah. So yeah, and this is actually one of the things that I wanted to bring up about how what's worse than an actual hangover, like when you drink just entirely too much, is an emotional hangover. That is the worst thing ever. Like I woke up this morning and I was like, oh man, I cried a lot last night to poor Ray. I cried like I had not cried in like 1,000 years. And I realized, no, it was
a
good.
good cry?
It was a good cry.
Release?
It was necessary.
Yeah.
Like you realize how important it is to, like you can't hold it together forever. You
Release.
can't, yes. Yeah. And I woke up, I was like, I gotta see Ray tomorrow.
Yeah.
But there was nothing wrong with any of what you were crying out, right? Like it ended up just because the biggest thing that I got out of everything was her constant saying of I'm just tired. Like I'm tired. So now like again, it just made sense to you and it makes sense to me why you actually were saying that so much, because you released that that energy then, right? And it's still continuing to just kind of like
purging.
Yeah, like it's finally just letting itself go to where maybe you don't know and how long it does that last, like the after effect of it. Like, is there?
I think it's different for everyone.
Yes.
For and clearly by what you're going through individually. You know what I mean?
And it also made me think, right? Because I do raise a confidant of mine, right? And I shared a lot. It also made me realize that when you have a relationship with somebody and you're struggling with something, everything has a time limit. Like there's an expiration date to complaining or venting or struggling with something, right?
Like everything has a phase. Everything comes in waves.
Yeah. And I remember telling Ray yesterday, like, I'm almost there because I still talk about similar things or similar subjects or similar things.
Are you pressuring yourself?
Apparently.
It sounds like pressure.
That's actually a very good point.
Because you're putting a timeline to your feelings.
And that was actually
like,
one thing.
I'm getting there. And it's like, well,
that was one thing I mentioned
rush?
yesterday.
Right.
Yeah.
Was that it does like the comparisons, right? We can't compare whether even if it was like, because the conversation was like across the board with everything, even from her new, I wouldn't say if it's new, but just now her getting out and actually like practicing DJing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all aspects of your life, personal, business,
and what
creativity.
And what I even told her at that was just like, look, you can't compare yourself. You can't compare your life. You can't compare what you've been through versus what other people have been through. You can't compare anything because your life is your life, right?
Yeah.
And if we're talking about DJing, you can't compare where you're at and how well or not well you feel you're doing. For as long as she's been doing it, it's only been a few months, as opposed to Hector and I, it's like 20 plus years.
Lifetime.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, you can't compare that. You can't sit there and be like, oh, but Hector and I understand that. So we're not going to sit there and be like, oh, you fucking suck or this and that. Like I think it's also just a confidence in the game of understanding that you could put me next to any of the top DJs.
Yeah.
I'll be nervous.
Yeah.
But I'll get through it.
Yeah. You're going to do it.
But I'm going to do it.
The best, and you're going to give yourself. You're going to put all of your talents and all of your skills out there.
And I mean, even my wife could probably attest to it last weekend, right? I ended up joining a raid on Twitch.
Yes,
that's right.
And I even texted Rickie, and I was like, "Yo, Rickie, the dude that they put before me is headlining the actual event that they're gonna have in person in a couple weeks."
Okay, nothing to be
Wait,
nervous
which is tomorrow,
about, right?
The one at Hello Stranger?
No, next week, the 15th.
Okay.
And I was just like, and she was like, "Okay, that's good, right?" I said, "He's fucking amazing."
He sent it to me, and I was like, "What you worried about?"
Yeah, it's no big deal.
Nah, but you get
But I
what I'm
understand.
saying, like,
but I understood that.
and the thing is, I don't know if he's been doing it as long as I have, or if he's been doing it longer. But it's just
you just know that you're doing the same. You're in the same room as this person, and you're about to perform.
Yeah, you can't make those comparisons.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Deadloop. Right, Nestor is fucking amazing, and he has not been doing it as long as Hector and I. And I tell him, I was like, bro, you're fucking dope.
Yeah.
Nah, bro, I'm not that. It's like, no, you're fucking amazing.
And I've seen
man.
both Ray and Hector, like they'll stop like Nestor and be like, let me see how you do this, and they'll just watch Nestor in awe because he scratches, so they admire and they give they give him his respect. But when Ray told me that, because it goes back to the stupid little fox cogni or whatever the little raccoon is, right? In my head, I'm thinking, if you're not perfect, don't bother going up there. If you don't know what you're doing, don't bother going up there. But then Hector's like, you got to be thrown into the sharks if you're going to get any good at anything.
Yeah, because how do you expect to become perfect?
And I think there's a lot of unlearning that has to happen with all of this, right? Because we're conditioned, we're coming out of places and environments that are performance based, and we no longer have to perform for someone. We just have to perform for ourselves, in a sense. So right?
Yes, I always go back to Rick Rubin, who he posted something the other day that said, if it does not excite you, it's not going to excite anybody else, or something to that degree. Like you have to do something because it excites you. And so on the way to Otana Fins yesterday, Ray and I had a real deep conversation. But when I opened, I played songs that I was just in that moment feeling those songs, and I sang my little heart out.
Oh, good for you!
In that booth, it was just another form of a release, you know, before I got into the rest of my set that I've been practicing. But it felt good. And I wouldn't have done that otherwise, because you get in your head like, well, you have to play for people and this isn't about you and da-da-da. I didn't care at that point. Yeah. Because I felt in a comfortable space, and I was like, okay.
And I could tell you as a person spectating from the outside, because this is usually what we do, and Hex might end up being like, man, why you fucking throwing? But so even Aaron, shout out to Aaron, he's an OG. Like he's one of the way Rickie looks at Hex and I and Severe and how we perform, and just like, how do you guys do that? That's how Hector and I look at Aaron. Like,
you would love his mixes.
Like, it's like, bro, like it's from genre to just like the tempos, everything, the way he transitions is just fucking amazing. But that just speaks to the years and how much time he spent perfecting the craft, right?
Yeah.
But it's just like the three of us, when we go in, and it's been this for like the last 3-4 weeks,
so
maybe.
We've been doing this for 6 weeks, but the last 3 weeks it's been all three of us.
Yeah, so we all end up in the corner, right? We set up.
They look like the mafia when they do this too, I swear to God.
We set up, we get Rickie situated.
Yeah.
She does her thing. And we slowly just pull out of the booth.
Okay.
And it ends up just being the three of us just sitting in the corner.
Yeah.
And we're observing. Like, we're observing the crowd. We're observing her and listening to her. And one thing is, like, there was a couple times where she ended up like her blend, her transitions for like 2-3 songs straight were just like on point.
Oh, good.
And we were like, we looked at each other like,
that's my girl.
we looked at each other like, okay. But we also, like, Hector and I told each other, don't tell her nothing.
Right.
Don't like.
She's gonna get in her head about it.
Yeah, and as much as like Hex was like, bro, I want to fucking text her and be like, that was it. That's what you need to listen to.
Yeah.
But it was just like, nope.
Yeah. Write it out.
Let her write it out and get used to it. So that now those 3-4 songs that just transition flawlessly are gonna end up. She's gonna start getting so used to it that it's gonna end up being 6-7 songs, 8-9 songs, and it just
I've been building on that.
And it's just one of those things where it's just like, some people you have to just let them ride their shit out. You have to let them just be them, right? Like, and but I think that's in all aspects. Like, whether
do you think? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I don't want to lose this thought. Do you think that if you would have told her in that moment, she would have fucked up the set?
Yeah,
she would have stumbled without even trying to transition.
Okay,
but that's just knowing who she is, right? But that goes to everything in life. Like, like even with yourself, Natalie, like with your in your new job, there's people that have been doing what you're doing longer than you, but you can't worry about that. You gotta, like you said earlier, you gotta perform for yourself. Yeah, you gotta mute all that other noise and perform for yourself.
And there has to be a confidence that you know what you're doing and that you've had enough, or even if you don't know what you're doing, but you have enough tools to guide you through the whole, whatever it is that you got to do, right? You're going to figure it out.
And just
trial and error.
In everything in general, everything falls down to basics. Like, there's no need to overcomplicate anything.
Right.
You know, like, again, it doesn't even have to do with music. It could just be anything in general. Like, whether it's your career or Rickie's career or even mine. Like, if I'm at the shop and I'm cutting people's hair, there's no reason for me to overthink a haircut. Yeah. The process is going to be the same. It's just going in a different direction depending on the fucking haircut. But my process has to be the same. I have to know the basics to it in order to be confident enough to fucking perform it, right? Yeah.
Which goes back to the pressure thing where I'm telling Ray, like, I'm almost done. Like, I'm almost there figuring all of this out and with my whole healing process, which is the pressure thing, right? Yeah. Because I think about, like, my Aunt Rosie, rest in peace, a long time ago, was like, when I would say, I'm really tired of this situation or I'm tired of this, she would always tell me, when you're really tired, you're going to stop telling me about it and then you're just going to make the necessary changes to do what you have to do.
Something's going to hit.
start doing it.
Change it.
Yeah. So like I know people that are in abusive relationships and it's like the same story all the time, and nothing changes. And it gets frustrating, right? Because you're looking at someone and they're just suffering and suffering and suffering. They're not doing anything. Your advice gets old. Like, I'm just going to tell you the same thing I tell you every time, or just stop telling you anything at this point because nothing is changing.
Yeah.
Right? So I guess for me, if someone's struggling with something, I'm listening. But then you see those tiny little victories in between.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah,
that's what
you're
matters.
doing it. That's what matters. And so I guess it's not that I pressure myself, but I want to make sure that I have milestones to change, right? And that I'm being an active participant in my own solutions so that the people I care about know I got a path. I have a plan. I'm not trying to sit in this forever. Also because I have a fear of losing people. So I'm like, oh, they're going to get tired and be like, man, fuck you. I'm out. I'm sick of this shit. This fear of that. This irrational fear.
Yeah.
But that's what I was thinking about this morning. It was an interesting last few days.
There's a lot with that.
Yeah, your wheels are spinning.
Yeah, because I'm trying to formulate. I'm not trying to formulate anything really, but I'm thinking about what you're saying, and I'm stuck on the timeline and the milestone part.
Why?
Because, well, I guess maybe that's like a probing question, right? That I can ask is, so then what are the milestones? Like, what are the expectations? You know, what are you expecting to feel or be or do at what point? Like, what are the measures? You know what I mean?
Perfect.
Like, that's so complex. I'm having a hard time gauging all of that.
So there used to be certain things that would trigger me bad. Like something, I could see something or I could experience something in that moment and I would spiral. I would get into my head about things and I would just start hyper thinking about what triggered me and my past and how terrible this is. Yeah. And it was bad. Yeah. And sometimes it would last all day. Mm-hmm. And I'm referring to a point where things were really low with me, right? Mm-hmm. So if something would trigger me in the morning, I mean, I was going to work still with that, like, imagine a headache. Mm-hmm. And that headache is that trigger that's just constantly pounding in your head. Yeah. And I'm writing the little books, right? And I'm trying to write my way out of this overthinking spiral thing that triggered me. Yeah. So if my worst triggers were 6 months ago, now I'm in a place where that same trigger can last me 40 minutes. Instead of an entire day. And then after the 40 minutes, I have clarity, I have thought process, and I have a more compassionate in how I talk to myself or how I talk myself out of that trigger. Does that make sense? Yeah. Where in the beginning, there was no talking myself out of the trigger. It was like trigger, and that's it. I'm in it. I dove into the mud. I am stuck. I can't get out of that. So for me, the milestones in between how bad it was, and now I'm like, oh, okay, I've learned how to deal with things that trigger me. I've learned how to talk to myself. So those are the milestones that I'm talking about that help me recognize I've come a long way. Like I've made progress. Okay. And I can't wait for the day that certain triggers don't trigger me anymore, and it's okay. Yeah. And it's fine. And so then my panic comes in like, look, I'm growing. Yeah. Okay. You're not going to be hearing about this for much longer. Yeah. Like I'm almost there.
I did this. Yes. Because you realize like everything doesn't need a reaction.
Right.
And I think that's so mind blowing. I have to think about that. I keep that present in my mind because there's some things that I'm like, oh, you know what? That doesn't have to trigger me today. Yeah. Or ever. I don't need to react to this. It doesn't require a response. It doesn't need my energy. Let it go.
And I can't wait to get to that point. Because I'm not there, but
you have that awareness. Like,
I 100% do.
Everything doesn't need a reaction.
Mm-hmm. I could tell you though, when you have that, and only because I've kind of gotten there, right? Again, the only thing that could throw me off that is the kids. The kids, they could derail everything.
Everything goes,
yeah. But once that happens, when you don't, like what you're saying is you don't have to give the attention to everything because not everything is valuable for your time. Yeah. it portrays this this attitude of, oh, that person just is an ass. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait, say that again?
This person is an ass. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you don't care that I'm hurting, or you don't care that I'm going through this, or you don't care that this situation
Oh,
happened.
right.
Yeah. Based
they
on
don't
your
give a
reaction.
It's like, no, I do care. But why do I need to emphasize?
Why do I need to have the same energy that you have about this situation? That isn't going to fix anything. A negative and a negative.
Yeah.
A positive.
Well, sometimes in math it is, but
Math don't make
this is
sense.
the exception.
We're talking about real life. Yeah. but you get what I'm saying, like, because I think we talked about this last night too. Was that it's just like not everything. We got to understand that when people speak to us, they don't all want. Some people are just speaking just to speak. To be honest, they're not sitting there asking us for a solution. And
right.
And then what ends up happening is, if we offer a solution, that could end up triggering like a defense mechanism for that person.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's not the solution that they were looking for.
Or it's just not the one that they want.
Or the one that they're ready to hear.
Yeah. They want you to just tell them what they've been telling themselves, and when you don't, it's just like, you don't fucking get it. It's like,
you don't understand.
Like, no, I do understand, but now I understand that that's how you want it to be. So fuck it. It is what it is, and that's kind of what you got to tell yourself. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Not everything is worth your time and reaction.
That's why you got to ask questions too.
Yeah.
Right. You had to
before the dialogue.
Yes. Like, I'm learning how to, when people say like, I want to do this, or what do you think about this or that or the other? I'm learning how to just be a listener. Like, maybe they don't need my opinion about something, or maybe they just want me to listen to what they're saying, or asking questions. How can I help you with this? Or what is it that you need from me? Because then once you know, then you can sit back, relax, and enjoy whatever's going to happen. Because you know your lane. You know what is expected. And I'm not saying that has to happen every time. I'm just saying that's good to do.
Yeah. Be an active participant in the other person's life story.
My kids are really good at doing that with me. They're really good at just saying, I just need you to listen, and then just dump out everything that they have, or say, I need your help with this. I'm going to explain the situation and help me figure this out.
Yeah.
Well, it's because
they're really good at that.
You've given them a lifetime of solutions, and they probably understand, like, they're with you every fucking day, so they understand, like, hey, I don't need to hear a lecture right now. I just want to fucking talk to you.
Yeah.
I think that's been really important. I heard from Jasper this week, and I was super excited about it because she's reading. I can't remember the name of the book. I'm gonna find the book she's reading, but it's a book that I've read before, and it talks about not feminism. What's the opposite of feminism? Masculinity. Males and being disciplined. It's a book that Nipsey Hussle recommended everybody read. And I think
I have the cover of the book in my head that you're talking about.
Yes.
And you don't even have to tell me, and I don't know why you just said all of those things, and I already know the book that you're talking about.
I'm gonna read it again because it was probably one of my favorite books that I've read. But from that book, she found this book called Intimate Communication: Awakening Your Sexual Essence.
Ooh,
so she's like, Rickie,
Intimate
I think
communion.
What did I say? Communication? Oh, Jesus.
Intimate communion. Let me see.
Both words do mean something different.
I think of communion when you go and get lost. Yeah. In the name of the Father, Son. But she said she started reading that, and that she was called to get me to read it because she said it would help me with unmasking my femininity.
Ooh.
And how to harness that, and how to just get in touch with it a little bit more.
I love that.
Yeah, so
I can't wait to hear what you think about it.
She sent it to me. I'm going to start reading it, and
the feminine way. It's perfect. Yeah. Oh, I want to read this after.
And then Ray was like, no, you just need, well, no, you didn't say no, but you said what would help, what would be a good supporting
book
factor to finding my femininity was what did you just say?
Well, because she played back the message that Jasper sent.
Yeah.
Because it was a voice message, so I was listening, and based off of what she was telling me, her her point of view was as was for someone in a relationship, right? So you find your femininity through some, like, being in a relationship with someone who's masculine, but that person who's masculine has to be a secure masculine person.
Ooh.
You can't be a
What a great point.
Yeah, when he said that, I was like, oh yeah.
You can't be a masculine person that's just like, I'm always right. Like, no, a secure masculine person knows when he's wrong.
Yeah.
And could accept that, and can accept when it's not his role to play.
Yeah.
Even if it is a masculine role, like, you have to be secure in who you are. That's a form of being masculine. Like, sometimes it's okay to lay your head down on your woman's lap and just let it out. There's nothing.
Right.
Now, if you do it all the fucking time, you're just a sucker.
There's limits on that, right? There's limits?
There is. And only because I know, like, I remember when Samantha and I first started dating, she would always say that. She goes, I can't stand when guys do that. You always see, like, the guy, like, walking in the mall, and he's, like, walking right behind his girl with his hands in her hoodie pocket. Like, and they're, like, they're walking like fucking crabs down the fucking mall. Or, you know, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
For sure.
So it's just like, she goes, or like,
what are y'all doing?
Yeah, or
those are the early stages of love. That's very Fast and Furious behavior, okay?
But
come on.
No, if you've seen Fast and the Furious on the first one,
you would know.
You would know that was nothing like it. You'd be like, oh damn.
Which, if you guys see our shelf up here, we have the Paul Walker, what is the Skyline or whatever the car was, the Fast and the Furious Lego set.
Wait,
the
he's
Nissan,
actually in the car.
Yes, Paul Walker's in the car.
That's
kind of cute.
We're gonna build it one day. Soon.
It's
well,
a
Rickie
Nissan
is.
GTR.
Yes. Oh,
But
thank you.
it's right-hand drive, which makes it
Yes.
even more fucking better.
That would be cool. I would want to. Have you ever this is
Driven?
yes.
No. My dad has, only because he was a postman for 30 plus years.
Oh,
So,
that's cool.
yeah.
That's pretty
I've
cool.
always thought about it though. I'm like, man, I would like one of my actual like imports. I'm not a big import guy. Although one of my last cars was an Acura, the Integra. That shit that's the one that they stole from my front yard. She was blacked out, Lord. Anyways, I'm over here
like daydreaming about the past
but
cars.
one of my favorite imported cars is the Sylvia.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
The Sylvia is similar to the GTR.
Okay.
It's just a little bit more thinner, streamlined.
The name of the car is Sylvia?
It's a Sylvia. And they're only sold, I think they're only sold in Japan.
Interesting. It must be an expensive car.
Yeah.
Right?
Like you might be able to find them out here.
Yeah.
But
Look it up.
like if you find them out here, like don't touch it.
No, I bet. Yeah, no. It's just
the
something to admire.
Nissan Sylvia.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so back to what we were talking about.
The
Sorry.
Ways of the Superior Man.
That one
is the book.
It is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And I
You
saw
have it somewhere. You had it.
I think
somewhere.
I think it was in that.
I think it's in the other room.
It's in the other room. The Ways of the Superior Man, excellent book, and it was because it was a Nipsey interview, and he was saying like every person should read it. It helps you understand how to manage your sexual energy with people, loyalties, and the ways of a disciplined man. Right? Not man, but people. Just a disciplined person.
When it says man, it's referring to like humans, this human species.
It can, but
Right,
I think the
mankind?
primary target is men.
Men.
Because I think that was actually the discussion that Rickie and I had on our way out to O'Donovan's last night was because of the field that I'm in, there's temptation, right? So it's easier to give into the temptation than it is to push it back, right? Like I can easily go after the women that throw themselves.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Easy work.
Yeah.
You know, like that.
Yeah.
What makes the man is being able to stay strong enough to reject it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what we were talking about, where I guess I don't know if it was like an excerpt or something that you got out of the book, but it's just like that. Like I have a wife that understands the field that I'm in. And for me to understand that she understands that, I'd be a fool to jeopardize that.
1,000% a fool to jeopardize that. And that's what they kind of talk about. Like you can take that sexual energy from all these, whoever's throwing themselves at you. Yeah. You can take that sexual energy, not apply it or move, but learn how to use that with your own relationship with who you do go home to and how to.
And it kind of sounds bad though too.
It's weird, but
because it's like, okay, like let me get all these men or women, whichever is your preference, right? And I take that energy that they're serving me, right? And I don't pursue anything with them, but I take all that rush and I take it out on my wife when I get home.
Right.
That's kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like
you're redirecting. Yes, redirecting the energy
but then
right
at the same
person.
time,
to the right person.
Yeah.
But it almost feels false though too, because it's like is your thought process saying
I don't wanna expand on this because I want to get exactly the way he expresses this.
Yeah.
Because how he lays it out would not make you feel that way. Would not make you feel like, oh, this feels weird.
only because like in my thought process, and I could hear my wife's voice. I mean, like, you only came, like, excuse my language, but you only came to fuck me because all these other people wanted to fuck you.
Yeah, but if it was a good fuck, it's all worth it.
I don't know. It depends on the person that you're fucking.
That's true.
And how they perceive shit like that.
That's true. Which goes back to communication and what your beliefs are with certain things. And because she could be like, I don't want that energy. Like, go rub one out. Don't give it to me. I don't want that that energy. You know.
Yeah.
But that's why I said I don't want to
take it out of context.
Take it out of context. I absolutely want to break that apart so that we can understand fully how he said it and how it's phrased. And then we can talk about that because I don't want to.
Yeah, let's bring that one back.
I still never read that book, so maybe
maybe it'll be required reading
for everybody to read that book. It's an excellent book, but that goes into kind of what I originally wanted to talk about today. When all these interpersonal relationships that we have with people in real life, right?
Yeah.
Like here we are, we can see each other, we can feel each other, we know that we're here, right?
Yeah.
All this artificial intelligence talk is scaring the daylight out of me. Like legit, it's worrisome.
Yeah.
It's worrisome. And I think what I sent you guys was an article about this gentleman who created a woman, a friend, whatever you want to call her, on this app.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They became
like a relationship,
they became
right?
companions,
Yes. And then they shut the program down or whatever, and
he was
your
distraught.
friend's gone. But I don't know how.
But the research that it proved of, like, I guess the rate of like suicides and
that it went down
and all that. Yeah, that it went down. Like I ended up reading quite a bit of it because I didn't know if we were gonna talk about it, but I was just like, let me think about this. Yeah. And the first thing I told Rickie when she had brought it up earlier was just like, a big part of me wants to fucking just clown the shit out of these people because I feel like
you can't make a real human connection with someone. You really have to go to these.
But then I think of people that have like social anxiety.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
This would be perfect for them.
Like that would be perfect for them. But at the same time, it's almost like it's kind of sickening because it's just like you're really gonna fall in love with nobody. And what are you gonna do? Like, how is your thought process gonna spiral if once you realize you still have nobody?
That's interesting. You just gave me something. You just sparked something, a thought that I had. Well, I think the opposite is true, though. So the thing that we are communicating with it's an operating system, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't the operating system made up of all of the things that we are? So in a sense, aren't we falling in love with everyone?
Or
aren't
yourself.
we building a communication with everyone or everything that exists on the internet?
I guess, but
which is made up of people.
But you're picking it apart just to build the one thing, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's like artificial intelligence is the key word. There is artificial.
Yeah, it's not real.
It's not real.
Yeah.
That's kind of like.
But it's made up of real things.
It's
real thoughts.
It's made
real
out
ideas?
of real thoughts. It's so like let's take juice.
Yeah.
Right.
Juice, like drinking juice.
Drinking juice. You could take.
What other juice is there? Like drinking juice?
No,
what am I thinking right now?
There's the juice that Rickie Lee has. She got that fucking pimp juice. I don't know what is in Rickie Lee's drinks, but
well, I was thinking about people named Juice too, like Hugo Juice.
Yeah, but if we think about juices, right? Like there's natural juices and there's artificial juices. Mm-hmm. Well, you know
artificially
everything.
flavored drinks.
You know everything in the artificial juice is just made out of the thought of what the real juice is.
Yeah.
So that's the flavor same thing. Be. The artificial intelligence of creating somebody to be your companion is just the thought process of what you could have just had if you would have just went after a real person. The part that sucks about that though is the fact that maybe these people just don't have the patience to look for someone like that. Or not, you get what I'm saying? Like,
but let me ask you guys this: what constitutes something as real?
Exactly, I agree.
You got to touch it.
Really?
Look.
I mean,
put your foot out.
But physically,
you felt that?
Yes.
See?
Okay, but watch this. You can. I felt that. I physically felt that.
You can't.
But you do agree that you
so
can.
Type it out. Type out kick on your computer and tell me if you can feel it.
You do agree that you can feel things without being physically touched. You feel pain.
I guess.
You feel joy. You feel sadness, happiness, excitement. You feel those things. You can close your eyes. Nobody touches you. And you can feel that. And and a feeling is a real thing, isn't it?
But is it artificial?
Have you guys...
You can't artificialize a feeling.
But okay, that's exactly my point.
Your feeling, and
that's exactly my point. These people are creating an artificial companion,
right,
to feel a certain type of way. You just said you can't have an artificial feeling, yet you want to create a person to make yourself feel better. You're trying to create something that doesn't exist in order for your feelings to feel accommodated. For you to, and in this case, I would even say for you to just feel anything. So that's kind of contradictory to what you just said.
So maybe the thought is that it doesn't matter where the feeling comes from as long as you're feeling it.
That perhaps is the concept of it. But then at what point do they tell themselves that they're still alone? Because I thought about that, right? So like here's this guy who had this relationship with this artificial intelligence and now it's gone, right? Now he doesn't have this person. Well, what's the difference between that and a breakup?
Yeah, same.
The person's gone.
Yeah.
You still feel the same thing.
Have you guys watched the movie Her?
Yes, 1,000 years ago.
I love it.
You haven't watched Her, right?
Watch it.
Joaquin
Phoenix.
I feel like you guys keep asking me about things and I say no. They're just going to think I'm dull.
Yeah, what's this guy do? Lives under a rock or what?
All the listeners are like, man, this guy
he doesn't like cartoons. No animated things.
You should watch Her because it has everything to do with this topic, and it has all of the elements that Rickie just identified. It has her, it has laughter, pain, joy, sadness, breakup, all of those things. And so the movie is basically this guy is falling in love with his operating system with what is essentially a Siri, and
Scarlett Johansson is the voice of her.
With Scarlett Johansson's voice, she affirms that you don't have to fall in love with anything that is like a physical person. Her voice alone is just attracctive, and Amen. She does the voice in the Jungle Book as well, and her voice is just in the Jungle Book. Yes, she's the snake. She's I don't remember the snake's name.
In Mowgli.
No, in the Jungle Book.
Really?
Mowgli is a person.
No, but they did. Mowgli is a person, but there's a movie called Mowgli, which is the story of Jungle Book, and it's really actually really good. Yeah, but I thought that was there because there's a snake in that one too.
I get it though. I'm like, yeah, and so a big part of why I love Alicia Keys so fucking much,
her voice
is her fucking voice, not just her singing voice, but like her actual voice.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
But I know she's real.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Let's say you were single, you didn't have no kids, nothing, right? You were by yourself.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if I seen Alicia Keys with kids and a wife, I'm sorry, Samantha.
We all know that, man.
We getting some bills paid.
Everybody knows that. But let's say and you had the opportunity to create a relationship with an artificially intelligent Alicia Keys.
Yes. Thank you so much for saying that.
I can't do it.
Yes, you can.
You know why?
Yes, no, but
I refuse. I refuse to accept that answer.
You know why?
I feel like you can.
He's all on it.
I'm gonna say something that will probably be.
All right.
I'm a man, damn it.
Hold on, because
I don't want to artificially create something that I can't feel. Because if I'm gonna fall that much in love with something like that, again, forgive me for what I'm saying, but I need to feel it.
Okay, right, but listen to yourself. Listen to yourself.
All of it.
All of your enthusiasm, all of your excitement, all of your love and appreciation, and just complete adoration of Alicia Keys. I don't feel for her that way. I love her. But I can feel what you feel for her. I feel it. There's this ball of energy of love that you have for Alicia Keys, right? I want to point out what Vinny said in the chat.
What did he say?
Ray, that he's an artificial intelligent person.
No, he said, Ray, you can't touch Alicia Keys. Is she artificial?
I can.
No! You cannot. You have not physically touched her.
How do we even know she's real?
How do you even know she's real? What if every time you've seen a concert or whatever?
I'm going to tell Vinny the same thing I always tell Vinny anytime he needs a comment on something. How do I know you're real?
Right. Exactly. We don't know. We don't know if anybody on this chat is real.
Oh, no. I know who's real on here.
Do you though? What if it's a simulation?
I've touched them. like boop. Just tap the nose. I'm not touching you.
Yeah, see, Vinny's like beep, boop, 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 beep. I'm not real.
Yeah, there's a point there. There's a point. How do we know that any of this is real?
Okay, but I'd like to.
So you would say that I'm sitting in a room full of fake.
You don't know.
You don't know. And let me. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we really maybe have to look at reality completely different. And again, reality and what the truth is, right?
That explains why I'm so perfect.
No, we lost him, guys. We lost him.
He's gone. But how?
I'm gonna go home and let my wife know that.
How reality and the truth are different, right? Like, we don't know. Like you said, I can touch you and I know that you're physically here and you're real.
Yeah.
But my own idea of you could be very false, could be not a realistic thing. And I say that because a few weeks back, we talked about my ex-husband who got into that motorcycle accident. His fiance reached out to me earlier this week, and we had a great conversation about what she experienced, her finding out the truth about who he was, and how everything he had told her was just not true. But in her head, this person she could physically touch and who she thought he was not.
Yeah.
And that's an in real life person.
So he's okay, right? Sorry.
He lost his spleen, a kidney, and a leg.
Ooh. Wow.
Yeah.
So, because you asked me that same night, you had asked me, like, does your wife know everything about you?
Oh yeah.
Right.
That was at Tamasuleña.
And that's only because the convo that day kind of steered into how I could go places that are nowhere near here. Mm-hmm. And I run into people that know me. Mm-hmm. Or I could be called out.
Yeah.
Like, yo, Ray, like, you know? And so she's just like, how the fuck are we miles, hours, and someone fucking knows you, right? So it's just like, she asked me, she goes, so does she know who you are? I said she has an idea, in a sense, right? Like, she doesn't have to know everything specifically, but she has the idea of it. But that's something as a human we've created. That's not an artificial thing. So even with your ex-husband, he as a human has created this thought process for each of you, because you have your versions of stories with him, and she has some that you were like, whoa, he really told you that shit?
Yes.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you both physically were able to touch him. Mm-hmm. He has a lineage of family that have experienced him. When we speak of artificial intelligence in the sense of what this guy created, what he created, there's no lineage of any type of family. There's no history other than what you created in that moment. So there's a big difference to it, where it's just like, unless you create the story, and like I'm making this and this right now, and that just becomes a creative thing. That's just a creative thought process at that point of saying, I created this person artificially, and this is their story.
So I think the point here is that this artificial intelligence, this relationship that we're creating, it can only be so long until you run into a point where
you realize you're alone still.
Which is something that Amy said in the chat too, right? That as people, we need to get better at being comfortable with ourselves.
That's I think that's the biggest point you could take from that is being able to do that. And it goes back to what Natalie was talking about earlier. Like, once you're able to do stuff like that, like once you're able to be that comfortable with yourself, nothing else really matters. Nothing else is worth your time.
Yeah.
That you don't want it to be, right? Like, you become so comfortable with who you are as a person that all the other nonsense
is nonsense.
It's just noise.
It's just noise.
So, are we pro artificial intelligence or not?
Get it how you get it, but at the end of the day, I feel like artificial intelligence is just a mask.
To what?
To reality, because at the end of the day, you have to face your reality, right? And the more you try to mask it with other things, it's just going to keep burying it and burying it and burying it, but you're not resolving any type of issue.
So you're saying artificial intelligence is like a drug, right?
It is. There's an addiction to it.
There's an addiction. I think I'm going to try it.
You're going to create a boyfriend?
Every time.
I better not walk up to the studio with a do not disturb sign, and then I just hear a bunch of clicking on the fucking computer, like oh, there she goes again.
Oh my god, I'm gonna die right now. No, I think I'm curious about it.
Yeah,
because I'm gonna find whatever app I could create a friend.
Well, okay.
I'm really curious
what about Twitch?
What about Twitch?
So we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Like, obviously through the pandemic, Twitch became a really big platform.
With real people.
Real people.
Right.
How do you know?
But you still never met these people. Exactly. You get what I'm saying? So maybe you don't have to go that far to create this.
I'm just curious. I'm legit 1,000%. I think I'm so terrified of it.
Yeah,
but I think what's trumped it has definitely been my curiosity.
Yeah.
Like how does this happen? How would this work? How would it be? So I'm gonna do some research on it, and I'm genuinely curious.
Do you think that you have to be in some type of vulnerable mindset in order to just be like, I don't want to deal with fucking humans no more? I'd rather.
I think maybe a lot of people that are already doing that.
Yeah.
That's their mindset going into that. Yeah, they're like, man,
like there's no hope for humanity.
Yeah,
yeah.
All of you suck. Let me just be on the computer now.
Which is why I think it'd be good for me. Why it complements my curiosity, because I'm not going into it like that. I'm not going into it thinking that humans are trash, even though a lot of humans are trash. I'm not.
3 weeks later, we're gonna be on the ride back from O'Donovan's.
Yeah.
And, you know what, Ray? Fuck
His name's
this.
Carl.
I'm tired of all this shit.
Yeah.
I found a new man.
Yeah. Meet Carl.
His name is Carl.
Yeah, I don't know where Carl came from, but Carl.
Is it spelled with all caps? You got a caps lock?
Is it K or C?
I'm going with the C.
Carl 01?
And are there any underscores to separate the name from...
But I think, like, what about... Okay, and this is just my hypothetical scenario. What if you fall in love... People fall in love online all the time. This is just... The difference here is now we're just falling in love with artificial intelligence. But there's people that date online. There's people in my line of work. There's people that fall in love with people that say that they are one thing and they might as well be a robot.
What?
So what's the difference?
Yeah. Well, so you just never met them, like long distance relationships.
Long distance relationships.
Like
and then they say that there's something and then they're not that.
Yeah.
And then they end up
I could see that, but you also just realize that that's still a person. That person has that lineage.
I don't know. Russian bots, history. Man. I don't know. See what I'm saying? Like, there's so much we don't know who's on the internet.
Okay, so let me ask you guys.
We could be falling in love with the wrong people.
This is a great topic, right? What are the steps necessary to
get off the computer and just live life.
No, Ray. But let's say we actually know a lot of Twitch romances that have happened, like people meeting on Twitch and falling in love. I was talking about one of the DJs that we know met his current wife on Twitch.
How awesome!
They met on Twitch. She became his manager. They started working together. They moved in together. They built a studio. They now have a child.
Listen,
they met on Twitch.
If any of you on the Twitch chat get married, I am going to officiate your wedding because
I want to be the madrina de honor.
Yes,
and I'm gonna go ahead and play that.
I don't want none of this.
Soon as you walk down that fucking aisle, we gonna drop it like it's hot.
Oh my god. No, but
so it's possible.
But it is possible. Yeah. But I think that there's still a lot of fears behind it. I think that there's a lot of hesitation when meeting people online, and that's why.
But there is even in real
life. Correct.
There, like, I'm not trying to get soft on you guys, all right?
Here comes the soft.
But I remember when I was first dating my wife, like I would get nervous every time we would go somewhere because this is like I don't want her to see me look like a fucking fool.
Yeah,
but this whole time,
good impression.
Yeah, but this whole time she probably fucking looked at. Cool, yeah, she looked at me that way anyways. Her. You know what I mean? She's like fucking dork, think she's cool.
But I think that's probably what she loved about you, though. Yeah. That's the whole thing.
I'll tell you what. Never mind. Family friendly.
Yeah,
but I think that goes with anybody, like whether it's artificial, whether it's meeting real people online, or just meeting. Did I say meeting people like in real life?
Meeting people online.
There's always gonna be that, right? Like there's the play up to it. Like you gotta fucking create these scenarios in your head, I guess, and be like, well, if I do this way or I do that way, then perhaps we could go this route with our relationship. Or like you just in general, I think everybody plays out a scenario what the relationships are supposed to be like.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm not gonna say I'm coming around because I'm not against the artificial process. I only have the concern of what happens when you realize that what you have isn't real.
And
physically.
And we haven't even touched on the fact that, like, how do you have this relationship with an artificial intelligence and then present that to your friends and family, you know? Like, how do you even have that conversation?
What was that movie? There was that movie.
Artificial Intelligence?
No, there was that dude that created the girlfriend and he lived in the house with his mom and everybody.
Wait, what about, no, I'm thinking about Ex Machina.
No, it's fucking...
Oh, sorry. Is it a holiday movie too?
I don't know if it's a holiday, but he always had like the same sweatshirt on or the sweater. Like it was like, and he lived in this, fuck.
Was he Asian?
No, I forgot what actor it was. It was one of these handsome blonde guys.
What?
Fuck.
Wait, so explain it again. What?
So he had he creates this girlfriend, and everybody thinks he has a girlfriend, but no one's ever fucking met her because she doesn't exist.
I know.
And even his mom, he lives with his mom, and his mom thinks he has this fucking girlfriend that he's never fucking introduced to nobody. He just created her.
Oh, I feel like I know what you're talking about.
I know what movie this is. This is driving me crazy.
Anybody in the chat know?
No, but I do want to mention how Amy and I met through Twitch. And she's saying that she didn't know if I was a guy or a girl.
Rickie? Well, no, because you have a unisex name.
I do have a unisex name.
My wife asks me. So one of my best friends, his name is Rickie. He's like my brother. And then now I got
Rickie.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got to go talk to Rickie. Which one?
Yeah.
The boy or the girl?
Yeah.
But we took that chance in meeting one another and exchanging. Like, we had a great connection on Twitch. And then, it worked out. We met at the stadium. And now we're great friends. Like, great friends.
Yeah.
And so you do have to take that leap sometimes with people. But I'm trying to think of people that I've met online that went, like, sour. And I don't think I necessarily...
Do you think the approach is... It depends on the approach, right? Like, you knew who she was online.
Yeah.
But you never met her in person, and you don't really ever have an intent to meet these people in real life. Like,
right.
But when you go into these dating sites, you have an intention that maybe at some point we're gonna fucking have to meet each other. Again, we're human. Certain things have to happen in order for the thought process and the feeling to continue. I'm not gonna just talk to someone on a computer for so long and not try to get it in. You get what I'm saying? Like you have like that's just a part of humanity. That's just a part of who we are as a human species. Like
we crave human touch.
Oh no, that's the truth.
So that's what I'm saying. Like the concern, it becomes that like once you realize that what you created really is just fake. Yeah. And there's nothing you can do about it.
But but you guys are saying like the positive things about it is the suicide rate have gone. So there's benefits to it, but I think we don't know enough about the long-term effects of it.
That's what I'm saying. Right. So at that moment it's temporary. Yeah. So we could say for 2020, 2021 that the suicide rates have decreased, right? Yeah. But what happens 5-10 years from now when the reality hits that you're still alone? Mm-hmm. So,
which goes back to what Amy was saying. We have to learn how to be by ourselves, like to be able to be with ourselves. That should be the goal at the end of the day for all of us.
Yeah,
100%.
And I'm playing back the Her movie.
I want to watch that again.
Yeah, you guys, you have to watch it.
That came out a while ago.
Yeah, 2013 actually.
Lars.
Lars.
Lars. The life of Lars or something Lars.
I've never seen it.
You got a computer.
I'm looking it up. Life of Lars.
Something like that. And it's, what's his name? He's sitting on a couch. I forgot his fucking name. It's one of them damn handsome guys. And he's sitting
handsome.
He's literally sitting on the couch like this.
Is it Lars and the Real Girl?
Lars and the Real Girl.
Let me see a cover.
No, then I haven't seen this.
It's a trippy ass fucking movie.
It's Ryan Gosling.
He's handsome.
Very handsome.
He's coming out in the new Barbie movie that I can't wait for that to come out. Let me see.
Hold on. Oh, yeah. 2007.
Oh, he's so
See,
young
I told you he was sitting in the chair like this.
Lars. Okay, we're gonna have to see.
I want to watch it.
Look, and I don't give a fuck. I'm confident in this shit in what I got.
Who you are. Yeah.
As dorky as that motherfucker looks right there, he's handsome.
He's freaking hot. I love Ryan Gosling.
It says the search for true love begins outside the box. So then what's the consensus of the most?
Watch it. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Well, because
you like telling me to watch shit.
I know.
Watch it.
But because that really confuses me, the opening line that true love begins outside of the box. The real box.
Maybe outside the box of the idea of what true love is.
Yeah.
And the actuality is true love is what Amy is saying. It starts from being comfortable with who you are.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I'm going to get an artificial intelligence friend. I'm really curious about this.
Well, Vinny's our artificial intelligent friend.
Technically, yeah.
Technically.
I mean, we don't know him. I mean, we do. But we don't.
We do, but it's just at the same time.
And where there's a picture. Yeah. But we only communicate.
It could be just a circulated picture. Or one that was
one of those
created.
Google images.
No, there's a whole documentary on this football player.
Oh, that's right.
I'm going to totally get this wrong. Who made a girlfriend and then she died, but then she really didn't die.
Manteteo.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he didn't. He's not. So, because I ended up watching that documentary. So what happened was it started off as an online thing. Mm-hmm. And I'll just fucking break it down.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to watch it. It was another guy on the other side.
It was another guy on the other side.
Portraying to be a woman. Uh-huh. And just developed this relationship. He created this name off of somebody. And he just so happened to was able to get that same like a person with that same name to kind of go along with, like, hey, write this note out.
I remember because
he knows that I'm real.
Yes.
And it was a very beautiful girl.
Yeah.
But behind the screen, it was a guy. Mm. And as Manteteo was going through his process from college into the NFL, like, he started, the dude that created this character started realizing, like, shit's getting real. Like, as you were saying, like, this just the companionship of the online dating, right? Like, because they were in different, I think they were in different states or some shit like that. Yeah. So he was just like, this fucking story pisses me off.
Really?
Only because, so here's the thing.
So it ruins his career, no?
It ruined his life. Like, Manteteo was like the way he was in college, he was destined to be one of the greatest NFL players. And he lost all that because this person lied about who he was and the relationship. Because the sad part was that when Manti Te'o assumed that girl died.
Oh, yeah.
He spiraled? Did he spiral?
Well, no, because it became public. And that was kind of like...
that opened the floodgates of investigation.
Okay. And only because that's as like society, that's what we do. We we need to know, like, well, who's this girl and why? Like, you know what I mean? So, I say it pisses me off only because in that documentary, they actually talked to Homeboy that played the girl. Right?
Yes. Who said that? He did fall in love with him.
He did. They both did, but he didn't fall in love. He didn't fall in love with him. He fell in love with her, the character. Yeah. That he created in order to get close to him. But the fucked up part about it seemed like there was no remorse for what he did. Like, you destroyed a man's fucking life.
That's sad.
I'm gonna watch it again because I didn't gather that.
Because you already know how we are, like cancel culture, right? Like, you fucking lied about your girlfriend dying, bro. Yeah. Because we couldn't fathom the fact that the girlfriend was fake, and it wasn't him that created this fake girlfriend. It was this dude. Guy that created this fake girl that he fell in love with,
which was catfish. That's catfishing, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
And he took the fall for it.
He took on everything. Like, it broke him down to where even his parents were like, did
he get suicidal?
Oh, sad.
It was bad, and that's, I think, like I said, the part that pisses me off about it is the fact that Homeboy that created this catfish had literally like no remorse. He's out in Hawaii, like in a specific island where no one could really fuck with him, just living his life, being who he wants to be. Meanwhile, Manti Te'o's whole fucking what he's worked for his entire life was destroyed off of this. And that's the danger of artificial intelligence, I guess you could say. It's a good story.
I want to watch it again because I didn't get as much of the he didn't feel remorseful part. But that doesn't, I wasn't necessarily paying attention to that. So I think I'll go back and watch it again because that would anger me. Because you, like you said, you ruined somebody's life. Yeah. You broke somebody. You literally broke somebody. Every part of them. Yeah.
And I think so. I think because Manti Te'o he grew up in a Christian family, I believe.
Oh, yes. He was looked at a little bit more strictly.
Well, that, and then he actually like forgave him. And I don't think I could do that. Like, I've lived my life dedicated to this fucking sport. Yeah. This was a sport that was supposed to fucking provide for a generation of my fucking family. My bloodline was supposed to be solid because of what I fucking put in.
You wouldn't forgive him?
My bloodline was supposed to gain some type of generational wealth. And because you thought that it was smart enough or just let me try this out, who knows what the rest of my family after me is going to have to go through, just living life in general. Not because they know the story, but just because that's just they didn't have that opportunity to have the generational wealth that he could have provided.
Fuck, I get that.
But do you think that that's the risk that we are going to take no matter who we meet, though? Because there's some deceitful ass people out there.
It is.
That's a good question.
But the fact of being able to do this in person is what makes the biggest difference. We talk about it even with, like, when you guys had Jasper, like that frequency, the feeling of, if it doesn't feel right when you're in the presence of somebody. You know what I mean? Like, even animals. Animals, they kind of that's what they rely on, is that frequency.
Well, that's a good point.
You know what I mean? So it's just like
they feed off of other energies to know, okay, I'm going to feel fear. I should be
How can you feed off of something like that online out of something that you created?
I wonder if you have
no, we haven't smoked.
I wonder if you had a place where you had like tigers or some kind of cat, panthers or whatever, right? And you created noises of a threatening animal. I wonder if they would be able to recognize if it was an authentic
Oh.
And I wonder if the animal would be able to identify that's a fake sound.
What's the primary sense for animals?
Isn't it
nose?
If it's the nose, it would have to be the odor.
The nose? How do you get the nose?
Well, I don't know.
So you're gonna smell that there's a tiger. If you're a llama just hanging out, you're gonna smell that there's an angry lion behind you about to eat you.
Does it depend on the type of animal? Is my other question, right?
I would think that it's sense. Like you can feel. Oh shit! Like you can just feel it.
But something has to trigger that sense.
Right, and I wonder. Right, yeah.
Pheromones. This is going south.
So it's not a sound. It's not a sound. Oh, sorry.
I'm lost.
But I do wanna. I'm flabbergasted right now because Vinny just did a search of himself to make sure he wasn't on the internet.
He's on the internet.
But your husband just confirmed that Vinny is real.
The crazy part,
and
though,
saying that he's seen Vinny.
Well, here's the thing, though. So Vinny could do that, right? And he could be like, "Oh, let me double check if I'm not on the internet." I'm not sure how in depth Vinny is with his profession, and if he can remove himself.
That's the first thing I thought. That's the first thing I thought.
Can you remove me?
Because we talked about this a couple episodes ago, right? How what he did to help people with his technology. Mm-hmm. What were we talking about? But we asked like his ability to be able to remove himself from the internet.
Remove me. Take me off. I don't want to be found.
You just want to be found in real life?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it. If you have my phone number, you're lucky.
Fuck that. Even if you have my phone number, don't call me.
Yeah. It's going to voicemail. And don't leave me a voicemail. It'll piss me off. I have to prove to you, I have 158 voicemails that I have not listened to.
People still leave voicemails?
Yes. They do.
That's why there's text messages.
158.
Or audio messages.
Oh, shit.
Or audio messages.
That's the other thing.
Audio messages are cool, though.
Audio messages are cool, only because, like, if you're always on the road.
Yeah.
Like, and so, like, for us, that's how we are. It's just like, but I'm like, yo, if you're at home and you're just sending me an audio message.
Wait, hold on. So there's ways. So if I'm at home and I send you an audio message,
you're gonna be
that's
mad.
not gonna work. But if I'm driving, that's an acceptable audio message.
Yeah, because you shouldn't be touching your phone regardless if you're driving. That's not safe, right? But if you're just at home like this.
Listen, likely I'm not at home like that. So
you know what I mean? Like,
I audio message Hector and Ray last night, completely drunk, at home. So was that an acceptable audio message?
And you could hear her music in the background. I was like, you lazy ass mother. But no, only because. But I say that just clowning the homie Hector because I know like every time he does that, he's at home.
Every single I would say that he prefers to communicate by audio message than phone call. Or he text. Doesn't do text message. Like,
yeah.
But it's funny. So like, I feel like if Hex did, if he did say, "Fuck, I'm just gonna text," the way he sends his audio messages, he'd have like a
paragraph.
He would have like a whole bunch of just bubbles. Because it's like, bro, just get it out. Yeah. Just fucking send everything all in one message. God.
Okay, so audio works for him then.
No, not even that. Because even with the audio, it's like a 5-second one, and then a 3-second one, and a 4-second one, and then an 8-second one.
It's hilarious. I love it.
You might as well just send me a fucking voicemail.
Oh shit.
So Mike says that Vinny passed his Turing test. What is that? And Vinny confirms that it would take longer than a search to remove something from the internet, but it is possible.
Well, what is a Turing test? And let's get ourselves removed from the internet.
Yeah, but then what if people aren't going to be able to find on this frequency?
It's separate from my name.
She could change her name.
True.
I have thought about like creating an entirely different version of myself on the internet.
And it doesn't matter.
You can,
like either way, people
Instagram.
are going to find you.
Yeah. An alter ego.
What would you name yourself?
Rhonda.
Don't do that.
I was going to say Rochelle, but I know that's
don't do Rhonda. Rhonda sounds like a big chick that don't wear a bra and has fucking plaque in between her teeth.
Freaking Amy. So the Turing test is a computer test invented by Alan Turing when he invented supercomputers. I didn't know shit about any of this. I have so many questions now.
I don't know nothing
Interesting.
about it.
We'll have to have Vinny on.
But I think Vinny knows quite a bit of the field that Amy's in. And I don't know if he's had his hand in it, like in programming the things that Amy uses. I'm not sure exactly. Like I try to read the chat when they're chopping it up with each other. Yeah. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I created that program. Good luck with it." They're like, "What?" Okay. So I don't know. Like I don't know what the extent is, but sure they both know about that type of technology.
We need to have Vinny and interview him. We have a lot of questions for him. I feel like
it would be good to get a group of these.
Nah, fuck that. He's gonna call us and sound like a robot. He's gonna sound like the Jetsons.
I love the Jetsons.
At this point, it doesn't matter. Just bring the bread and bring the cookies.
Bring the bread.
Everything
I saw the bread.
Is up to you.
I saw the bread. Amy says that this test was in the 1940s.
Interesting.
Interesting.
So we're just dumb.
We are just dumb. We're over here. He's not real. Mike's testing him and shit. Mike's not sleeping on this.
Oh, shit.
This is hilarious.
That's one thing I love about Mike. Like, you pick his brain, and he will rack that shit until he figures something out.
I feel like my brother's brain has turned into a maze of complete, and it's like...
It's like the Matrix.
I think after my brother did mushrooms, that like when we did mushrooms the first time, and I know he did some follow-up work after that. Mm-hmm. I think his brain,
I like how you called it follow-up work.
Follow-up
like
work.
It was a project.
Yeah.
I think his brain, something happened.
Yeah.
Because my brother is now a very thorough, very deep thinker, like intense. And all avenues of, I don't know, very strange. In a good way.
Yeah.
How long ago was this?
2 years ago.
Ever since I've known Mike, and I've known Mike longer than 2 years.
Yeah.
That's just been his mentality. And I don't know if you've known that, like, from when you guys started dating, but that's just...
Yeah, no, he's definitely... He's always been a very interesting person to conversate with, but even more so now.
Yes.
The way that he... conceptualizing is very interesting to digest.
Yes.
I will say, and I don't think he's not for everyone, but he's I'm gonna say it like this.
Acquired taste.
He is for the people, but he is not for everyone.
But I also think that it's because of that level of intellectual content that he has, because of that, his selection of people around him has gone down. Because you want to talk with people that are understanding shifted.
It's shifted.
Yes.
Do you think that's you wouldn't assume that that's just another avenue of maturity?
Yeah, for sure. Growth. You know, like as people, certain things change. Our health, our appetites.
He's definitely not
minds.
A complacent person.
No,
he's not.
No, it's like on a search for truth, and it's so in depth and so detailed, right? So like like now I know I have to be prepared when I'm going to talk to my brother about something, because he's probably going to know 10 more things about the subject that I didn't know about.
You have to be very precise.
Like
you have to research before you want to have a conversation with
right.
My wife's grandpa was that way. Where he was very, very, very intelligent man. He would visit a country, but before he would visit the country, he would teach himself the language.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Good for him.
So
interesting.
He knew a wide range of languages, but he also, from what like Samantha has described, is like kind of like a beautiful mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like he was so intelligent that it was actually like drove him crazy, but he acknowledged it, and it's just like, I guess him too, like you said, like he wasn't for everybody.
Yeah.
He was for everybody, but to intake who he was, that wasn't for everybody to understand.
Right.
And you had to, because if you wanted to ask him something, you had to have the facts down. You
Right.
had to have everything in place and in motion for him to say, okay, let's go.
Which is cool, right? Because you want to do your prerequisites beforehand, because you know you're not going to get... Which you should, because you know you're not going to get a simple reply or a simple answer or anything like... You're going to get a thorough, digestive...
Or at least approach it and say, I don't know what I'm asking you. And maybe you can help me figure out what exactly it is that I'm looking for.
I like that.
It's interesting that we bring up this conversation because that's actually been a very challenging part of my relationship with Mike is the communication. Sometimes we sit and I want to be able to have this just chill conversation, no expectation, no real like end point or trying to get us at a certain solution. But with the type of mindset and thought process that both Mike and I differ in, it's really challenging to have a casual conversation or even any type of conversation because we both want to go in different directions when we're speaking.
So knowing that, do you guys not disclose that before you converse?
That's an excellent point.
We don't, because we haven't... I think that we are both in these new ways of approaching things. So I think it's all very new to the both of us in how we speak to each other.
But you acknowledge it.
And you're aware of it now.
I'm definitely aware, but now it's kind of sucks because our conversation is more like, I feel like I'm more careful. Like I'm not just speaking freely because now I don't know in the type of conversation or response that I'm going to receive, and I don't know that the response that I'm going to give back is going to be the right one.
That's too much work. You're working too hard.
Exactly.
But
that's why the disclosure
is important.
It's very important. It goes back to what Rickie was saying about the girls and Carlos is like, hey, I don't want an answer.
I just need you to listen.
I just need you to listen to what I'm saying.
But also, I've learned a lot about myself watching how my brother operates. Like in the last couple of years, I've learned that when you go to my brother with something, he's not thinking of, my judgment and my perception. His mind will immediately go to, how can I solve this problem, or how can I make this, whatever's coming out of your mouth, how can I make it better to help you? And that is how I operated with anyone or anybody that hit me up at daytime, morning, whatever, whatever was coming out of their mouths. I wanted to, my mindset immediately went to, how can I help? What can I do to make it better? This person is talking to me because they need something from me, and this is my role. I saw that.
And the simplest act of just listening never crossed your mind.
Ever. But when I saw my brother do it, I was like, holy shit, that's what I do. And then I started to think about the many conversations or time that I've spent with people where I'm like,
why am I trying to solve their problems?
Damn, these people are going to think I'm a fucking lunatic because I'm always saying like, well, you should do this and you should do this and that. When maybe they just needed me to listen. So it was nice to kind of figure that part out.
And you ever realize by doing that you've relieved so much pressure off of your shoulders by just listening? But that's why too, I think it would probably benefit you guys. That's not saying you guys are going to always have to do this. You're not going to always
But it's a good practice.
You're not going to always have to disclose.
Hey, by the way, I just need you to listen.
Yeah, you don't have to always do that. I think because it is new, it would make sense to do it until you guys end up adapting to that feeling of when you know that they want a response or if you just want to be heard. Because it's not going to be the same always. In any type of fucking relationship, you're not... Things change.
As they should.
I remember Samantha and I, I used to be the one that would be fucking panicky.
Really?
Yeah, I would be like, hey, I'm going to pick you up at this time. And I had to be at this time. It had to be very precise. And, I couldn't let something... And a part of me still, is like that, right? But I feel like Samantha, the roles have switched. Where it's just if I say this, it's going to be done at this time. I do operate that way when it comes to certain things. But when it comes to, her and I, it's just like, hey, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, where to her overthinking kicks in, and it's just like, it's a whirlwind of other shit, you know. Yeah. But I think that's just in life. Like, you guys are gonna change, and you never know. You guys might actually go back to how you were before. It's just in this moment now, you guys are experiencing life differently. You were in a relationship where it was just, I wouldn't say you had to care for each other, but you were there for each other, right? To now where your new role in life is that you both have to care for this one person, and you both have to figure out how to be on the same page with it. Yeah. And the communication is a lot different.
And there's a lot in between all of that now.
And that's one of the things where I think you should disclose, especially because if the conversation comes to being with your child, you might want to be like, hey, I don't really need an answer to this. Yeah. I just wanted to tell you something. Yeah. Just to like...
I'm just venting.
Yeah, just to vent it out.
I just want to say this out loud.
Yeah,
right?
You know, like it could be like your son could probably develop a habit that kind of irritates you, but you know it's just a habit that will eventually fade. Yeah. And if you bring it up to Mike, he's not looking. If you bring it up to Mike, he might be like, well, how are we going to figure this out? How are we going to get him not to do this anymore? And it becomes something more, but it's just something that you just wanted to say that you observed.
Yeah. I don't need it to escalate or to become this whole fiasco. I just want it to be spoken.
Yeah. How did we get into that?
Girl, you're asking the wrong person. I just talk.
Right. I'm just here for this show.
Well, that's how you know it's real and it's not artificial. Yeah. Boom! You like to switch back on that shit.
There's glitches in the system here.
Circle of life.
Actual operator errors here.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well,
this was great. I can't wait to hear about your adventures.
I'm gonna try it.
Cyber dating.
No, not it's. No, I'm not cyber dating. I'm just gonna find one of the apps about the artificial companion, whatever that guy did. A friend. So
here's the thing that, since you mentioned that, like the thought of trying it out, has been kind of like in my head these last few minutes. How is that any different from you just writing in your journal?
Oh, I like that question.
Oh God, of course.
Crickets.
Well, it's not that it'll be it is going to be a completely different experience.
Well, because you're typing it, but I'm saying because the thing is your thought process is being fed into it, right?
Right.
It's no different than it being fed from your mind to your pen and your paper. It's just the tool is different.
The tool, well,
and at the end of the day, it's what we were saying, right? At the end of the day, you have to have that relationship with yourself, and so that would be the end game, regardless, right?
Okay, maybe I'm confused here. Oh, the article that I sent you guys, he was dating this person.
He just created a
person.
He just created a companion that he could vent to.
There were no romantic feelings involved, right?
No, but
he just created a companion.
Initially, right? Initially, it was just...
Yeah, because I think he did end up catching feelings for his person that he created.
Yeah.
Right?
But you're really just catching feelings for yourself.
Narcissists.
Right? Am I... Did I miss...
Okay, wait, hold on. Because the artificial intelligence... So, and that's why I'm curious, and this is why I want to do it, right? So if I'm building this thing, right? Yeah. Or I'm saying, okay, these are the features that I want, but it builds on its own, right? It's being created on its own as I interact with this thing, right? That's how it works. So as I interact with it, it becomes its own thing, right? Based on my own thoughts, my talk back, feedback, all of that, right?
Yeah.
That's all it is. So that's what, and I get what you're saying. That it's like you're going back and you're dating yourself, or you're befriending yourself.
But you can't do that on paper.
I could,
and I only bring that part up because we know her as someone who writes.
You express yourself through writing.
That's the way you express yourself. Yeah, everything is written. If I open this door, the world of YouTube and Twitch will see your thought process written on this door because that's who you are. So that's my only question posed for you, because I don't, maybe like anyone else I wouldn't ask that because I'm not sure if they write as often as you do.
Yeah, no, and I do write often, and I will continue to write because I'm gonna write my own book one day. But I'm just really curious how this would, because then I'm even curious, like, would I get attached? Would I then become dependent on this thing or this experience?
Do you want to?
I'm just curious. Like right now, I have no expectations other than I want to know how it works or what would happen or what would spring from it.
Yeah, we got to revisit this because
I do want to do it.
I think if you try it and then as time goes on, we would have to see where the thought process is too, because it's like, what if we see her gravitate towards depending on it?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
What is our role? They'll be like, "Hey, knock it off.
Come back to reality."
Yeah. Right,
There's
because what if I do start pulling away from?
And I think I will know because our conversations will probably be very few
and change. Right. So I definitely want to do this experiment now, 100%. Do you guys know what Skynet is?
No.
DJ AA is saying something about Skynet, beware, and so that's the other thing
too. The Matrix?
Right?
Isn't everything the Matrix?
Skynet. That sounds like such a familiar name, like from a movie or something. Skynet.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like Mike would know.
I'm going backwards. I'm trying to plant chiles and fucking tomatoes and
right here. Man.
That still needs to happen. That still needs to happen
out
too.
Here.
Senor vibes.
And maybe my artificial intelligence is gonna give me some great ideas on how to grow certain things. And
you're gonna be like, hey, look at this fucking Lego cucumber that you can throw in your fucking salad.
No.
Like Rickie, I can't. All the megabits in this shit are fucking squeezing out right of the lemon.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. I really, really want to try this. I'm actually really enthusiastic. So I'm gonna do my research on what platform or what app would be best to create to like do this.
Yeah.
I'm very curious.
Well, you do that. And I'll read that.
Well, let's
book.
entertain real quick before we close out. There's this whole wave coming in of this new technology with ChatGPT. So
explain what that is.
So, I don't want to explain it because my brain does not have the capacity to explain things like that. But let's just say that it's an advanced Google.
Okay.
And you type in whatever you want. I mean, I don't know. I guess you write me an essay, ChatGPT, and it'll write you an essay. And you say, write me an essay about the best type of haircut for men. And then it'll give you the best type of haircut and explain to you in details and how to do it and blah, 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 blah. So that's basically the concept. I hope I'm explaining that correctly.
In its simplest form, yeah.
So it's like a picture book and then an actual informative book with words. Regular Google is a picture book. And
now ChatGPT is actually helping you in your life in real time.
What?
Right? Because it's helping you in your daily tasks. If it's saying, "Hey, give me the formula to a math problem," or "Hey, write me an essay on I don't know, on human evolution," or whatever it is, it's going to make it for you. So are we becoming more lazy? Do you think humanity is going to become lazier?
That was exactly what I was about to say, because it seems that way. It seems like that's it. The concept is convenience, right? Mm-hmm. And even with these AI companions, are you being too lazy to just go seek a person and go through that process, the hit and miss process? Because I mean, it's not fun. It's definitely not fucking fun.
Yeah.
But I would assume that would be the convenience, and convenience. The biggest thing about being convenient is you're just too lazy to
do the
put in the work. Yeah.
No, I'm terrified of that ChatGPT or whatever it is.
We signed up for access. I'm hoping to get access.
Wait,
to
what
it
is access?
Because it's not available for everyone yet. I think there's still like a beta testing, or I don't know. There's a wait list to be in the platform. So you can't actually access.
So you're on a waiting list.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to try that?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, great. So you're testing this chat GPT, and I'm going to test the artificial intelligence.
And I'm going to read a book.
Señor.
Which my wife will be very proud of me.
Yeah, for sure.
In 16 years, she's like, do you fucking read?
Yeah, well, we'll come back to this because it's going to be very interesting. I think it's almost like compared to just the internet. It's a new form of internet.
Scary as
Hell
shit.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm down for this. I love all of this. Did they give you a timeline to when you would get access?
No. I hope soon. I hope with months.
That's interesting that you signed up for it.
Yeah. I want to see, like, what is this all about?
Great. So now you match my curiosity with this artificial intelligence. I can't wait for next week's
how much
episode.
can I go get away with,
Which I won't be here next week.
Next week is
just you guys.
and I.
Oh, that'll be fun.
I know what we're talking about.
Oh, shit. I'm excited. We'll talk after this.
Oh, no. Okay. Oh, Lord.
We're gonna talk about
Paul Walker.
Wait, Mike has Chat GPT? Did you know your husband has Chat GPT?
We talked about it in the car, and he said, "Oh, well, I have. I don't know. We had a really again.
Oh shit, Mike's sitting in the dark. Hey, bro.
I wish you guys could see this pic. We've been talking all this trash about my brother, and he's right there in the other room, quietly sitting in the dark.
Whatever you heard, Michael,
It's not true.
None of it.
They made me say it.
But that's hilarious that he has Chat GPT.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all I'll say.
Now that he's in there fucking awkward.
Then he has it too. I got access. I'm so okay.
Dad's home.
That's it. This is money right here.
All right, y'all. Let's have a good night, yeah?
Yeah.
Enjoy the weekend. Hey, happy Easter, by the way. Yes. All of you on the chat, happy Easter. Enjoy the time with your family. Yeah.
Real quick, off the top of my head.
Yeah, man.
Because I have to say this.
Say it.
LA Amy.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, LA
On
Amy.
Sunday.
On Sunday.
Oh, happy
Sunday.
birthday.
And I know she's probably like, fucking
Sunday.
Ray.
Why are you bringing this up?
Amy, you know I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Aww.
She's the best.
But happy birthday. We love you.
Yes.
You're
have
dope
a beautiful
as shit.
birthday.
And I will not bring you Doritos.
She doesn't like them?
She loves them.
Oh, okay.
It's a traumatic
It's a weakness. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll save it for another
She
day.
loves them, but I love her, and I don't want her to be upset with me because I bring her a bag of Doritos.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, everybody in the chat say happy birthday to Amy. That's what's
There
up.
it is.
Yes.
She treats us with so much love. Like
Yeah, such a big support.
1,000%.
All right, you guys. Well, happy Easter. Today's episode was produced live by Raymond Andrew at Rose City Sound with your host, myself. My name is Natalie and Rickie Lee. For inquiries, topic suggestions, and sponsorships, please email us at onthisfrequency@gmail.com. On This Frequency is available where all podcasts can be streamed. Watch a live stream recording every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitch at twitch.tv/On This Frequency. You can also watch us on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to be notified whenever we upload new episodes, and that's typically on Wednesdays. You can always support the On This Frequency team by buying us some coffee. You can send us your donation at buymeacoffee.com/On This Frequency. Keep in touch with us on Instagram and Twitter. Our handle is simply @On This Frequency. For those of you tuning in on Twitch, we're closing this episode out with your comments and questions right after this. Good night.
Vénganse, vamos a jugar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a cantar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a llorar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a fumar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a jugar hoy.